Hey guys, I'm working really hard on the next reporting video, but I wanted to tell you about something that I found that actually got me really excited. So as most of you know, I'm not really a developer. I'm just pretty scrappy. I know how data works. I know how to do some Python. I know how to use Studio pretty well. So I like finding little things that help me do more without having to become a developer. Anyway, there are times when ODOO releases a new functionality that just gets me excited, or and this doesn't happen quite as much these days, I find a functionality that was always there, but I didn't know how to use it. So perhaps incorrectly, I've always referred to this part of ODOO as the backend. It's the parts of ODOO that are studio friendly, that I can mess with fairly easily. They use Python, use XML. It's something that I'm comfortable with. That part is all about our internal users, right? I mean, getting their flow down, cleaning that up, and really that's essential. But when it came to the portal or the website, I found I couldn't do nearly as much. So I knew my limitations, or at least I thought I knew them. And when someone asked me to actually go in and edit something like that, and they were in odoo.com, I got a bit worried. So I'm making this a bit long. Let me show you what they wanted and what I learned. So my client was feeling a bit frustrated with all the different ways that customers could reach him and keeping track of those things. One of the places where he wanted to shut down the communication was in the chatter that shows up in the portal. So you see this chatter right here. Well, a customer can come into a sales order and they can say, hey, this looks funky. Okay, they can send that. It then comes back and it shows up over here. But that makes it a little bit hard for us to follow, or at least it made it hard for my client to follow. So they wanted to shut that down. So looking at this, I don't see the studio icon, and I actually couldn't find this in the view, although I'm sure it's there. What was I going to do? So I turned to my friends on Reddit, as I encourage all of you to do if you're stuck. People there are super helpful. One of the people suggested that I use CSS, which I thought, this is odoo.com. How am I going to edit that? But I asked a few more probing questions, which again, do that. Don't just take the first answer and think, oh, they'll think I'm stupid if I keep asking questions, which is my natural inclination. Keep digging deeper. They actually helped me find a way to use CSS, and it works in odoo.com, so you don't actually need to have a custom app. So enough of the lead up. I used Reddit. I used ChatGPT some to help explain it a little bit more, and well, let me show you the result. So the first thing that we need to find for this to work, for us to edit any of this, again, this isn't just for making things invisible. I can change a lot about the formatting here, but we need to find the class. And if you've been following along in my other videos, you'll know that the class gives us some formatting. So we're going to go ahead and right click this guy, go to inspect, and that'll bring us right to this class here. See this? If I click this over here, at least in Chrome, if I click this, it'll highlight it. So I want to hide everything here. So let's see where we're at. We're portal chatter, come up a bit. We want it to select the whole thing. So you see this class right here selects that whole thing. We want O portal chatter. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. Let me double click and copy that. Now we're going to duplicate this tab. We want to go back into ODOO, the backend, which again, I may be calling that wrong. It's just the way that I call it. You get a website. We want to go to site, and we want to go to HTML CSS editor. It's going to warn us. We're going to ignore that and edit it anyway. And we're going to go into CSS, or SCSS, parentheses, CSS. Now, I'm definitely not an expert yet, but I'm going to tell you what you can do here. Then we're going to use our squiggly bracket to give us our, well, they're called properties in CSS, I believe. And we're going to say display, none, and then important. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save that. And we're going to make sure to actually make this none instead of null, and save. Now we're going to go back here, remove our developer inspection, right? Refresh, and it's gone. Now it's okay if you're not as excited about this as I am, but it's good to know the possibilities, right? You can go in, you can change the website, and you can do this in odoo.com or any of the other hosting options. Anyway, as always, I hope this was helpful. I hope it gets your wheels turning. Good luck.